stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no. They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no.
Hello and welcome back to We Are Mighty. How you doing? How's the last couple of weeks been treating you? You feeling all right? I will say for me, at least the last week, it has been allergies, sinuses, and all that wonderful grogginess, my throat bothering me, my nose bothering me. And it's been unpleasant. The crazy thing is, Miles, my son, Mighty himself, he had asthma. And in his younger years, we almost always spent Memorial Day and Labor Day in the hospital due to asthma flare-ups. Now, unfortunately, Miles loved being in the hospital because the children's wing is just fun. He would be playing games. I'd be asleep in the chair, and literally he would tell the nurses to be quiet and, can you bring me this game next? Or can you bring me some Jell-O? Or can you bring me... So that was like his little vacation every year, twice a year, was to go to the children's hospital. So me having allergy issues this year on Memorial Day kind of was a trigger for me. Made me miss him a little bit more. But I think it also was a little bit heightened because the day before, thanks to those wonderful social media memories that pop up, I was reminded that the day before Memorial Day was the day, I guess you say the 9th anniversary of his graduation from high school. So all of his graduation pictures were popping up on my social media for me and in my camera, reminders of on this day that was the day he graduated 9 years ago. So once again, grief has found a way to irritate me. Can't believe it was through allergies, but it's okay. I just feel like it's more of a connection to my baby. So, that's the journey. That's grief. You never know what will be a trigger or what will take you to a place that you may not want to be. But we always remember to bring ourselves out of it. So let's talk about capabilities and capacity. If you're early in your grief journey, you probably don't have the capacity for anything other than dealing with that grief. I know that was me for at least the first year. I felt like I just couldn't deal with anything other than the loss. Does that mean I wasn't capable? I mean, I feel like I was capable of doing more because I had to push myself to return to work after so long or to do certain things that I, as a wife, was responsible for when all I wanted to do was sit in my spot on the couch that's just underneath his picture, waiting for my baby to come back, if I'm honest. And so that has to at some point shift. Your capacity has to shift to where your grief is able to live with other things in your life. We know it's not going anywhere, but how much are we going to allow it? How much space, how much emotion, how much energy will we allow it to take up on a daily basis? And it's going to change day by day. But at some point, we have to get to where we can function and allow the presence of grief but allow it not to be the overarching presence, not to be the overwhelming presence in our daily lives. I have, about one foster child. And just recently, in the last couple of weeks, we have acquired another. Both of them are under the age of 1, if I'm honest. I've made a joke that I'm going to start a new YouTube channel, fostering at 50 to under 2. So keep your eye out for that. But there have been people who have said to me, like, are you sure you could take on another foster child? Are you sure you could have another baby? I really feel like it's no different from any parent who has a second child. What do they call them? Irish twins when they're less than a year apart from each other? I know ladies who are 10 months apart. These two are only 8 months apart, but still close in age, and, you figure out your capacity when you're in that situation. And I think people are forgetting, first of all, that this was a choice that my husband and I made. We discussed it, and we decided, because of the nature of, this little girl's needs, that we wanted to help her. And so it's not about not being capable, so not being able to do what's necessary to take care of, these babies, and the capacity, that's ours to judge, right? There are people who do so many things, and you're like, how do you do all of this? And they're just fine because their mindset's right, because their priorities are right, and because they figure it out in a positive way. And so they are capable of doing these things, and they make sure that they have the capacity before they even begin it for most people. And I just felt like it was weird that so many people kept asking me, are you sure that you could do this? And I have a very, very strong feeling that it's because of the grief journey. And that's where the balance comes in. I've had to say before, no, my foster son is not to replace my son. He came along at a time that we were able to love him and care for him as he needed, while still grieving our son, because it's going to be a lifelong thing. So what that means is grief's there. It's going to be there, as ugly as it is, as ugly as it can be. It can sometimes be camouflaged, but it's not going to go anywhere. So I can't just turn my life off. It's like, this is a horrible analogy, but it's like having an ugly mole on your face. You hate it. It's there every day, and there's nothing you can do about it. You might be able to put some makeup on it once in a while where you don't really see it. It's not as prominent. And there may be other days that you try to put that makeup on it, and it seems like it makes it look bigger. It looks more prominent. It looks like it's overpowering your face. That's grief. An ugly ass mole. Yeah, I said it. That's all it is. It's an ugly mole that sticks with you, and it's going to stick with you no matter what you do. It's one of those ones that you may try to tie it off with the thread and it fall off, and the next morning it comes back. You're stuck with it. So what do? Hide your face every day? Not go out in public because I got this ugly mole? It looks like it's another person growing out of my face? No. You learn to live with it. You learn to adjust. And you learn to move forward with your life. You can't move forward and say, I don't have the mole. You can't be oblivious to it. Yep, you're going to have somebody's like, hey, there's something on your face. Gee, thanks. like I didn't know that. Same thing. Hey, aren't you grieving your son? Yeah, I know that. That doesn't mean I can't do certain things. Now, there are still things that I can't do. My son can, my husband can. I cannot go to a bowling alley. No, my son wasn't killed in a bowling alley, but that's the last thing we did together as a family, literally hours before he was killed. So I have a hard time going to a bowling alley right now. And hopefully one day I'll get over that because my family's gone bowling and now I'm good. I'll stay at home. So yeah, there will be days where you just don't want to have to face it to a certain extent. But I think I've gotten better in the balance. Even my therapist said to me that he feels like I may have a better handle on it now. Not saying that I'm not dealing with it anymore, but he realizes that the things that I'm doing every day or the things that I just do sometimes, being outgoing sometimes, or even the fact that I have my foster kids, because he thought the same thing. I'm worried about you being attached to your foster kids and maybe having to give them back. That's actually the purpose of a foster. To love these children for as long as you have them, to be there, to provide whatever needs, to make sure those needs are met. And then if it becomes to the point where you have to give them back, then give them back. You could still love them. I mean, of course, it's up to the biological parents if your relationship with them continues. But if nothing else, you give so much into that time that you have them that there's no regrets. If unfortunately they're going back into a negative situation, at least they will have experienced the love and the positivity that you've given them in the short time that they're with you. And I think once I let him know that, he realized that, okay, this isn't a cover for the grief. This isn't a facade. What people don't know is my husband and I talked about being fosters years ago. I have 2 quote unquote debilitating diseases to where doctors told me years ago that I wouldn't be able to have more kids. Miles was the last biological child I had. And so my husband and I had talked about, do we want to be fosters? Do we want to, take on somebody else's kids or, raise someone else's kids? And we discussed it in depth. The funny thing is, I will never forget, I always said to him, but we're never get an infant. You're not going to get a baby that young. It's going to be at least 3 years old or maybe even teenagers. And we were worried about teenagers, but, we would have never guessed that we would have gotten babies as young as we have gotten. And honestly, we took that as a blessing. I mean, it's a blessing to be able to receive a child at the age where they are not already set in their ways. They don't already have an attitude, and you're able to mold them and teach them how to love and how to be amazing people. So we had already discussed our capabilities of becoming foster parents a long time ago. And it just so happened that things didn't go the way we planned. And in dealing with grief and other things, our capacity wasn't there. And I feel like now we have the capacity. And we are rocking it, if you ask me. We have beautiful foster kids and we love them and we care for them and we do everything that we're supposed to as their parents. Foster parents, yes. So why am I bringing this up? Because I know people who are going through the grieving process who feel like they're ready to do things, feel like they are capable of doing things, have looked at where they are in their journey have looked at how far they've come and feel like they actually have the capacity to move forward. And you know what stops them? Other people. Other people feeling like, how can you do this already? And it could be 5 or 6 years. How could you do this already? You just lost this person. But it's not your decision as an outsider as to when someone is ready to move forward with their life, as to when someone is ready to move on. I have seen heavy debates on when wives should move forward after their husbands have passed away. I've seen some that is like, already? But that's not my job to judge you. It's not my job to tell you when you're ready or when you're not. If you feel you're ready, then by all means, you do what you have to do. Because only you, I'm going to say that again, only you can truly judge what you are capable of. And I'm not saying that the people who may want to tell you it's too soon, or are you sure you want to do this? Is this going to be too hard for you? That they are not coming from a caring place. But it can be annoying because it takes a lot, no matter the type of loss. It takes a lot to be able to move forward from it. How many times did I say, I think we're at a breakthrough. I think we're at a crossroads and we're going to move forward. And then I try to, and something just says, maybe we're not ready yet. And that's fine as well. You'll never know if you don't try. So never let anyone tell you, never let anyone guess, speculate, or try to put their own spin on your capabilities. Because nobody knows how capable you are of doing things like you. Nobody knew, correction, you didn't even know how capable you were of dealing with grief until it came to you. And of course, we never will. Nobody wants to deal with grief. You can talk and you can pray and you can prepare however you think the preparations are needed, especially when it's someone who's sick. Okay, maybe the doctor gives them a certain amount of time, but even that's not exact. It may go longer, it may go shorter. But once it actually happens, that's a different type of feeling. There's a pain of knowing that you may lose your loved one soon, of being there. And I don't know if this is the last day. I don't know if this is the last visit that I will have with them. But when you find out that it was, that's a whole different kind of hurt, baby. That's a whole different set of emotions, a whole different type of strength that you have to pull from. So if you have been able to pull from that strength and you have been able to look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? It's time. Or even like for me, honestly, I woke up in the middle of the night like, I can't keep doing this. It's unfair. It's unfair to me. And I know 100% Miles would not want me that way. I've quoted him before, and this is what I always hear him saying. What is you doing? Mama, what is you doing? Yes, I know it's grammatically incorrect, but that's how my baby talked. What is you doing? And I had to say to myself, what is you doing? Let's go. Let's move. And I've always wanted to somehow make a difference. I worked at schools because I loved kids. And being a foster parent is a way to make a difference in a child's life. And I feel like I was ready. Now, was it sprung on me? Yeah, it was sprung on me. We weren't actively seeking, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. And so if I had listened to other people, because when I first got my first foster son, I was getting, girl, you know, you ain't got no business raising this baby. Girl, what is you trying to do having this child and you going through what you going through? What am I going through? Tell me what I'm going through since you know so much. But here I am, almost a year later. And when I say he is the happiest little boy, and that's what makes it all worth it. I love the fact that I am capable of being there for these babies. Now I know my capacity. I take no more right now. These two are plenty. I have a boy, I have a girl, and we're going to rock with it as long as we rock with it. If it becomes that one is temporary, you know, maybe we will see. I mean, it's all unknown. But whatever it is, we're going to tackle it. We're going to do what we have to do. Because I looked at my capacity. We looked at our capacity. We know the amount of love that we have for kids. And so we were able to pour into these babies. And that just made me think about how much people want to tell other people what they're capable of. And it's funny because in most situations it's, hey, you know, you could do whatever you put your mind to. Sky's the limit. But let you end up in a situation where you're dealing with grief. Oh, there's no way. I don't understand people who say things like, God never fails. With God, all things are possible. So what? With God, all things are possible. With grief, it's not? I think my God's bigger than that. So never, ever, ever let anyone tell you what you're capable of or the capacity you have to do anything. You and only you know that. Just let them sit back and be proved wrong. They'll be okay. I hope this has helped you somehow. I hope it makes you just take a look at how many times you've stopped doing things because someone else has said, are you sure you should be doing that? Are you able to do that? And honestly, it ain't even just with the grief. I could go into how many times, because I am a diabetic, someone asked me if I'm supposed to eat a certain food. Learn what it actually means and learn what it is that people who are diabetic need to do. It's about balancing. It's not about don't eat sugar. Actually, they say not to eat the sweeteners that are not sugar. But that's another story for another day. So like I said, know your capabilities, know your capacity, and you walk in it. Be strong in it. Whatever you do, be true to yourself, be strong, and be mighty. We are here every other Friday, everywhere you listen to podcasts, and you can watch us on YouTube and Spotify. I'm so grateful for you guys. I look back at how I was the first episode to how I am now. There's definitely been some growth, and I hope that you guys have grown as well. I'll see you next time.
They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no. They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no.